Hey mates, and welcome to MtMtE. I'm your host Blind Prime, and for today we're going to be talking about Transformers, Age of the Primes, Generations, Triptacon. It's the same Triptacon that you would have gotten in Combiner Wars, except this one, no stickers needed. They went ahead and painted it for you, which is why I consider the Age of the Primes Triptacon to be the most blind accessible of the Triptacons. So if you're looking for a Triptacon and you're a visually impaired person, I suggest looking up the Age of the Primes one. Combiner Wars Triptacon is the thing of the past. We're in the future now, and the future is paint apps. All right. All right. So we've got Triptacon here, and it's just he's so crazy big. He's just so large. He's so huge. I like him. I like this fun little guy, and we've got a Polly Pocket. We're gonna put Polly Pocket on his nose like a little Green Ranger, sitting on the nose of his crazy Kaiju monster, the Dragon Zord. Let's pick that up just a bit. Can you just sit there, please, Polly Pocket? No, she doesn't like to stand anywhere. Polly Pocket's like the worst figure, but I wanted to give a little comparison on how big a Polly Pocket was compared to the uh, to the Kaiju monster that is. And look at that. When his mouth is shut, Polly Pocket can just fit in to the front of it because his mouth doesn't shut all the way. There we go. Yeah, little Polly Pocket, just the very, very cusp of his mouth. And funness, we're just going to do it real quick. But before we do, let's take a look at Polly Pocket down here. And here's a Polly Pocket down here at his toe. Yeah, Polly Pocket isn't even as tall as his toes. Just just as a freaking large Transformer guy here. He can he can of course grab the Polly Pocket if he wants. Oh wait, no, Polly Pocket's so small that she doesn't even fit in his claws. No, you can't grab. Oh wait, yeah, you can. You can grab a Polly Pocket like that and squish him because that definitely would squish the Polly Pocket. And then my favorite aspect of him is you tilt his head back and you open his mouth up wide, and then you can just drop the Polly Pocket down the throat. Yeah, that's great. I love that. So today's video is going to be about Triptacon, and Triptacon is one of those Transformers that I've been wanting for a while, but knew that I would never be able to afford. So I labeled him on the Grail list. Not a holy grail. That's still Fortress Maximus from G1. That's still the holy grail in my opinion. At least my holy grail, because everybody's got a different one, right? This guy is still an amazing grail of a figure. He is such a fun guy, and he's so large and in charge. He dominates the table space. We've got beside him right here is the Transformers. What is it? Yeah, you War for Cybertron Earthrise Generations Black Zarek, and Black Zarek here has a friend in his hand. He's got a Seeker, a Legend Scale Seeker. They just drop. Thanks for that. Are you okay, Mr. Seeker? Which Seeker are you anyway? Oh, you are a Seeker that has no rays, so you're either Thundercracker or you're either Starscream or you're Skywarp. Because I'm pretty sure they came with bolts, but Thundercracker didn't. But I can't really remember who's who. Anyway, we've got a Legends class Seeker, and we can give him a little look-see here. He is much larger than the mouth for Triptacon here. Like, Triptacon is a definite no. These the Legend scale figures have been working okay for Titan class like Black Zarek and Omega Supreme, but now things have changed with Triptacon because Triptacon is a size scale larger than Omega Supreme. Black Zarek and him, I think, are on the same level though, because I think they end up becoming the same kind of size bases. There is a comparison. Let's bring little Star Legends class Starscream down here, and there it is. That is, he goes to the ankle, for Triptacon here. Big old Triptacon, huge Triptacon, and Triptacon can of course carry Starscream in his claws, kind of. And there it goes. It's not the best in the world because Triptacon's claws don't really shut very well, and they're very small in comparison to not Omega Supremes, Black Xerix. So that's the Starscream comparison. Really, really wild how different in size these guys are. Let's going to set him down over here. There we go. Nice and stored. And who else do we have for a couple of size comparisons? I set somebody else over here just for today's video. Did I set them over there? No, I set them all the way over there. Okay, let's grab it. And then we'll get into in-depth description of this character because he is an insanely amazing character that I desperately want to talk about. What did I just kick all to pieces over here? Oh my god. I did not mean to do that. Oops. It's okay. Just got to grab the Stalk class figure real quick. Come here. Goes. We've got Superiorsaur. Or did I switch you back to Menosaur? No, you're still Superiorsaur. You're still Superiorsaur. So we have Superiorsaur here. He's the Superion Menosaur combination. And he goes to most of the way up the chest. The Triptacon can bend down and eat the top of his head. Nom 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 nom. Superiorsaur head. Nom 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 nom. That's actually kind of funny. So that is a big difference in sizes between the two, but it is really cool to see. Like you think these figures are big, especially when you compare him to like a smaller figure like what I have over here. Let's get one of the smaller guys. Do we have any of the smaller guys left? We don't. We don't really. I think my Bumblebee is still transformed in vehicle mode. Oh no, not the Bumblebee. That's okay. We've got an Aerialbot here. And do we have any mini-cons that are transformed? Or mini-bots, I should say. They're transformed. Nuts. Yeah, I think this is a mini-bot. You are a mini-bot. Okay, here we go. So we got some pipes action going on here. A little bit of comparison with the Pipes. Here's Pipes. Pipes is one of those figures that I highly recommend. Wait, no, is this Pipes? You don't feel like Pipes. No, you are Pipes. Okay. This is Pipes. He is an amazing little action figure. I do recommend Pipes. I highly recommend Pipes because Pipes is just fun. Look at him with his cool little backpack and stuff. He's just such a fun guy. Yeah, he is. Okay, so Pipes sits up to the knee, and then here is an Aerialbot. Which Aerialbot? I don't remember. It's an Aerialbot from the deluxe class scales. He is, of course, bigger than Pipes, and he is going to go just above the knee. And there's a little comparison with the Aerialbot and Pipes. How big is the head here for this guy? Let's take a look. So Triptacon's head is as long as the deluxe figure. Yeah, it's as long as the deluxe figure is tall. And Triptacon's head is definitely wider than a deluxe figure, but I think when it comes to weight-wise, I wonder if the Triptacon head and the deluxe figure are the same weight. So we're going to set these guys over here off to the side, and now we'll get really in depth with the description for this amazing figure. We're going to set our Gestalt figure down here on the floor. Hopefully nobody attacks him. Oh, there's a Cream in my chair. Cream, do you want us to come up and say hi to the video? Huh? No? Cream doesn't like Triptacon. Triptacon freaks Cream out. Okay, now for this last size comparison, the top of Black Xeric's shoulders go above the Triptacon. Like Black Xeric towers over Triptacon by a lot, but weight-wise, both of these guys, actually, Triptacon is the heavier figure. Though Black Xeric here does have some great weight to him, and his weight is more evenly distributed. And I gave Black Xeric Omega Prime Sword because Black Xeric can wield it better than Omega Prime can. And that's just something everybody should know about it, in my opinion. So let's set Black Xeric off to the side and really get in-depth talking about Triptacon here. Alexander, can you just live on the floor for a little while, please? Just stay there. And please don't fall over. You were kind of a massive pain when it comes to figurizing. I'm just going to pose him against the chair so that he doesn't fall over by accident. I have a tendency to knock things over whenever I don't mean to. Now, let's pick these guys up. So, figure out what in the world you keep rattling against. Oh, it's a broken Lego piece. From that time that Cream killed my Lego mountain. I'm still coming across shattered Lego pieces from that day that Cream killed the Lego mountain. So let's set this down here and bring out the handy dandy Lego pad for one nice little comparison of sizes. It's upside down. There we go. Set it over here to the side and there on the ground. Okay, so that's one. It's tall. Now let's bring it up here. Set it there. Hold it steady. Here. Okay. This is incredibly rough. You know, we never do things not rough here. That's 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. Okay, so 25 plus 32 is 57 studs tall. 57 studs tall. Lengthwise, this Triptacon is very, very long because its tail just stretches out. So counting from the tip of the tail, we've got 32 studs there. We haven't even gotten past the tail yet. Then we're going to put this there. And now we've got more 32 studs. And we're still not there yet. We've still got more places to go. So set that there and stretch this out again. And that's going to bring us to, what is that? Oh, 15. Nice. So 32 and 32 is 64. 64 and 15 is 79. 79 studs tall, or long. That is, this guy is huge. He also weighs a good bit. Now, when it comes to his articulation and stuff, I've got pieces of Brawl, Brawl, I think. The weaponizer. That was Triptacon's weaponizer. We've got his core body here. You spin him around. We've got his back piece here. Give it up. Thank you. So there's two pieces of the transformer because I just wanted to add him to this because it's just really cool that he's even there. And where's the rest of him, you may ask? Well, we'll get into that very shortly. So there's his bling, which is full tilt hanging out on his chest, like a nice little blingy car should. I like full tilt. Full tilt's a fun one. And I guess we'll just start from the top and work our way all the way down to the bottom and really get into depth on this guy because we just got to get into it. So first off, up here at the top, there is a secret little spot where if you take a headmaster and you plug a headmaster in, so like if we were to we open this and have Full Tilt's headmaster pop out of his little place, we're going to fold up Full Tilt's head. Okay, there it goes. There it is, all folded up and nice. Yeah, nice. Now we're going to take his head, which I have to say, Full Tilt's got a definitely awesome head sculpt. We're going to bring him right behind the head for this transformer. Now, find the top of your Triptacon's head, then drag your finger down the center of it. You'll find a few ridges there in the center. And then back here, there's a little piece that, there's just this square cutout. And we're going to take Full Tilt's head, fold it up into head form, and then we're going to put it in that little square cutout, and we're going to push it down. Okay? You just got to get it right. There's a million and one ways to get it wrong, and there's only one way to get it right. There it goes. And once you put it in there and push down, this thing pops off. It pops out of the top of Triptacon's head, and it's a gun. He's got a forehead gun. And I love it. You just fold it back up, and then you just pop that headpiece down again, and it pops out again. It is fun. And then, of course, you have a time removing your full tilt head, and when you're done removing the full tilt head, he can go in different places around here. Now I haven't found all the places he can stand, but there are some, not many, but there are some places where full tilt's head can stand. Or we're gonna put that gun away. We can open up the mouth real wide and then go, you know what? We're just gonna throw it down the throat, and we can just throw full tilt down the throat of this guy. And let's get into that throat real quick and talk about that, because outside of the throat, this head is. I like the eye sculpts on the sides. They're menacing. They're kind of cool feeling. I like how this guy feels like a Mecha Godzilla. He really does. You know, there's all of these little hoses and connection pieces. He's even got these crazy rockets or guns on the backs of his head. I don't even know how he's supposed to access those, except maybe lower his head down and fire at the sky. It's wild. But his head is just, it is really well done with all sorts of sculpted in detail. There is so much going on here. And then when you open the head up wide, we get on the inside here and you get these little fun sculpted in details for the interior of his head. And you've got some sculpted in scaffolding on the roof of his mouth. Goes all the way down, and then around the tunnel that everything falls down. They've got more sculpts, like little circular sculpts going down. They're smooth slide kind of sculpts where it feels like scales, but each scale is stacked on top of each other and they're going down the throat. It's really cool. Where his tongue would be, there's actually there's a gun in his mouth. He's got a gun in his mouth, and you can't really get the gun out, though. I think it would have been cool if that gun was on a little bit of a slider where it could pop out of his mouth a bit more. But no, it's just kind of in there. But it's still, he's got a gun in his mouth, and that's cool. I think it'd been cooler if we could put blast effects on it and stuff, but you know, it's from Combiner Wars, so it's not really going to be blast effect compatible, sadly. But that is just the head, Like there's a little bitty goatee. He's got a tiny goatee hanging off on the end of his lip. I love it. This guy's just such an 80s kaiju monster. And he's got these crazy missile pod things. You can pull them out and lock them in if you want, and they're pretty neat. They don't really do much, but they rattle up and down. You can put them down here, where you can push in the little missiles, and then you can have it come down here and lock in into the back. So you can actually, display this guy in different ways. But when you lock those in the back, you can't rotate his head because they rotate. These two weird missile pod things rotate with his head. So there you go. There's the head rotation with them included. And the sculpt work on this, I'm not even going to really get into too much detail. I'm just going to let you know it's rare that there's a spot on this figure that doesn't have something sculpted in. That is something I want to definitely impress upon you, is the sheer amount of textures. Okay, the sides of his legs up here at the ball socket area have a rounded, glossy area in them. And those are one of the few places that there isn't textures. Even in some of the other glossy bits, and we'll talk about those later in other videos on this guy, there's still textures going on. There's so much happening with this figure. And it makes me so happy that that's occurring. So let's go ahead and come down to his arms. Now his arms have some articulation as well. We've got his elbows give us a 90-degree bend. He can also lower his elbows down only to 45 degrees though. It's a very odd joint. And then his two claw hands can wiggle up and down, and then they open and shut. And I really wish they had given us ratchets with these claw hands so that we could ratchet them together or something and have them carrying some legacy or legend scale transformers or core class transformers, however you want to call them. Now the hands do raise up to 90 at the shoulder and more if you unclasp the pads from the sides of the transformer, but still, that's pretty good. And then 360-degree motion in the rotation at the shoulder. So not too bad, not too shabby for little bitty T-Rex arms, and definitely better T-Rex arms than what we got with Grimlock. So I'm gonna give this guy the best dinosaur arms ever. He definitely wins, and I love the scaffolding in the textures around these arms because, like I said before, there's an insane amount of texture and detail in this Transformer, more than I was ever expecting. I was not expecting so much detail in this, and this just made me so happy. like I said, to the Hasbro public relations individual who put this together, thank you so much for the Triptacon. Again, thank you for the Triptacon. Now let's take a look at what happens if you open this little panel, because there's a door in his chest. So we're actually pick him up just a bit more. There we go. And this is kind of a neat thing. He actually rides his tail is on a joint, so you can pick him up and have him stand taller if you want. And I like him lower down because it makes him more menacing. But then when you stand him taller, you can open this up, and then in here we get the Polly Pocket and the full tilt head. Though, interestingly enough, and this is such a weird thing, if we put, we're gonna do it again and take a look. Right? So we're gonna throw it down go down the throat. There it goes. Now look at that. It goes down to the bottom one. It doesn't go up here to the top one. You would think it would fit in the top one, or maybe it does. Let's check with Polly Pocket. Double check that. There I go. Nope. So it ends in the top one. It doesn't go to the bottom one. There's no way for it to go to the bottom one. The bottom one is just storage. So if you didn't want to carry the Polly Pocket around or the full tilt head, you could put them both in there, and then you shut the thing up, and you got storage. You have storage, and it's not the only storage location for these, for this transformer, and that's something I've desperately been wanting from Hasbro, is just places to store things. We just need some little storage pockets every now and then for extra weapons or just random accessories or even blast effects. I really appreciate that Omega Supreme's legs opened up to allow you to store things inside of them. It had been awesome if this guy's legs opened up, but they do something completely different. That blew me away. And we'll talk about that another day when we're talking about transforming him. But that is the really cool storage location and kind of end of his throat. It's a little prison cell or something where you can just eat things and you can just collect them in that little spot. That is cool. That is just, it's a fun play feature, and I really appreciate fun play features like that. Now, the other storage unit is around here on his tail, and we got to talk about this tail. This tail is long, and it ends with these two cuts sticking up at the end of the tail, and it's goofy, and I love it. I love the anti-aircraft guns, just in case somebody were to try and fly up behind him. They're like, oh, we can attack him from the rear. He doesn't have any. Oh God, he's got weapons pointed backwards. It's just, why? Because it's awesome. That's why. So somewhere in here, we're supposed to be able to break this this section here, and there's actually some storage in there. We can break it right. There it goes. We broke it right. Now he's going to try and fall on me because he doesn't like his tail breaking open while he's in dino mode. But you can break the tail open and reveal kind of a garage in here. So we're trying to get that situated. There it goes. So it's a weird one because it kind of goes below. So cars can drive between Triptacon's legs and pull up into this little parking spot here if it wasn't upside down and stuff. But inside we've got, if I can pull them out, oh my God, come on. There's one. There's the other. There's another piece. Yep, that's all of them. So here's the rest of Brawl, the weaponizer. I had him all stored up inside of Triptacon, and I think that's a really fun thing. Now, turn him around so you can take a better look. There's this huge gaping hole in that tail section. That's just such a neat thing that you can just open the tail up like that and store things inside of it, and then it easily just clamps shut, and it's done. So coming from the rear of the tail, we've got vents. I love me some vents, and I really like the big vents like that one right there at the very tip of the tail. Then we have these fun guns, and coming up the tail more, we've got all of the, there's some tires because these are the weird ridges like on the back of Godzilla, and that's why this guy screams Mecha Godzilla to me, is because of these ridges. And they have more wheels on them. And by the way, I have to mention it again. There are textures just about everywhere on this figure. Like right here, there's some weird little textures in this little area, and it's just, there's so much going on with this figure. There is so much happening with him. He they did not skimp on the detail for Triptacon. And if you know the story behind Triptacon, Triptacon wasn't even a transformer they meant to have. It's just something that the designers of Transformers were like, hey, wait a minute, we could actually make a Triptacon with the same piece count that we made the Fortress Maximus. That's the retool of Metroplex. And so they made a Triptacon in the same year as they made Fortress Maximus. So that year we got Combiner Wars Fortress Maximus and Combiner Wars Triptacon. Or, no, I'm sorry. Titan's Return. I've been saying Combiner Wars this entire time, but this is a Titan's Return toy, and so was Fortress Maximus. Both were in Titan's Return, and it was just a magical moment in Transformers history where they managed to get two Titan scales out at the same time, and both were decent size. I don't have the Fort Max. I really want the Titans Return Fort Max, or the new one that's for sale online right now. I keep seeing him drop down a little bit, and I'm just like, oh, if you can get below 150, I'll pick you up, buddy. But not until then, because I just don't have it in the budget. So this Triptacon is really fun. He's just so much going on with you. There's just so much happening with you, buddy. Why does that arm like to dangle like that? That's weird. Why do you do that? Oh, he didn't click into place right. Oh well. So this flap does not like to clip. There's a clip there, and it doesn't ever like to clip into place properly. And it happens with bigger transformers like this. Sometimes you just get a flap that doesn't want to follow it through. So as articulation goes, he's got his legs here, and his legs are on a really, really stiff ratchet. His knees, he's got his knees here and there on a ratchet as well. I've got the knees kind of bent for the better look. Now, interestingly enough, and this is something I advise beware of, he's got these hinged little spoke things between his legs. And when you pick him up, they do have a tendency to want to fall down and sit like that. But if you put him back on the ground like that, you could break them. So make sure all four of them are flat against the foot, and it makes a nice flat plane before setting him down. And I'm mentioning that because if you're blind, you may not see that all the time. So it's important to check with your hand before setting this guy down, ensuring that those four spokes aren't folded up. Now, when it comes to those spokes on the underside of the feet, we've got some good stuff, but not really much on the texture-wise. Very lackluster, and there's a lot of hollowness happening at the tips of his feet. That's for sure. He's got some waffling occurring, but it's minimalistic and it is forgivable. Oh, this is an amazing figure, and I think that if I had to give this figure a grade, I'd give him an S rank for being an amazing kaiju monster for Transformers. This is it. Yeah, this is the kaiju of Transformers. He is massive. He is incredible, and he is just insane. And now I desperately want a Legends scale core class Octane to go with him. Like, if anybody out there, let me know in the comments below if you ever find an Octane, a little bitty Octane. I need a little bitty Octane to go with him. Even if it's just a little action figure that doesn't transform, I'll take it, because Triptacon needs an Octane friend. He just needs his friend Octane. That way they can go to Carbomia together. Terrible city, terrible country, but I love Triptacon. Even if he was in a terrible episode of Transformers that should be forgotten forever. Oh, thank you all so much for watching today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed making it. I always enjoy making these videos. And just because he hasn't made an appearance today, here's Cream the Cat. And let's do a final size comparison with Cream the Cat compared next to Triptacon here. Here we go. Look at how large Triptacon is compared to Cream. He's going to eat your head, Cream. Cream, look at the Triptacon. Look at him. He loves you, Cream. Cream does not like Triptacon. Oh no, I put my zapper down somewhere. Oh, here it is. Cool. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Yeah, Cream came up to full tilt on Triptacon. Until next Prime. Bye bye for now.